Hello, my name is Jeff Anderson. I'm a New Mexico State University Extension agent, and I'm here to talk to you today about the big freeze we had February 3rd, 2011. In Las Cruces here, we dropped down to 5 below zero, and I know in some places we dropped down even farther than that. Some places reported at least down to 16 below zero. So I'm here to talk to you about the plants and what happened to them. We're going to start here first off with oleanders. Oleanders are a real popular shrub around the Las Cruces area, and they can take temperatures usually down about 18 degrees, but because of the 5 below zero, most of the oleanders in Las Cruces and the surrounding area froze to the ground. So I'm going to show you what to look for here. I've had many questions ask me about oleanders. And what we have here are brown leaves. They're brittle. You can see how brittle they are. A lot of dust. These are dead. And you'd think that the whole plants and this whole hedge here, which is typical in Las Cruces, you would think that the whole thing is dead. But if you were to look at the base of the plants, you will find living tissue. The bulk of the plants, and the older they were, protected the bottom of the plant, and this plant can regenerate from the crown area near the roots. So the easiest way to take care of these plants is to cut them back to the ground. And I know that's a really big shock for people around here. They have these great big hedges, and this is a privacy screen for you. But the easiest way is cutting, like I said, cut them back to the ground, because if you have even some live tissue, live stems that are in there, once these start growing and you get new growth and new stems in here, what's going to happen is you're going to have dead stems mixed in with live tissue, and then it's going to be really difficult to go in there and try and cut out each stem one at a time. Okay, let's go in here and take a look at this. You can see all these leaves down here. These are some of the tools that you'd like to use here. So if they're big stems, you may need a saw like this. You may need even a chainsaw. So here you got a cut saw, a pruning shears. Here, bypass is the best, and a pair of loppers. These are really handy if you have really big stems. You can come right in here and go right in here, and you may have to start up a little higher first and do some cuts. You can see some green tissue right here, but we're going to go back farther on that. So let me get down in here, reverse this. It's going to be difficult to get in here, and the bigger they are, the more difficult it's going to be, but you need to cut them way back. Another reason why we're cutting back the oleanders, and we need to clean up the leaves, is because they are poisonous. Not so much touching them. Oleanders can be poisonous eating them. So this leaf matter here, if you have animals, horses, dogs, they're very poisonous. All it takes is a couple leaves to kill an animal, and they have alkaloids in them. So getting rid of them right now is a good idea. Clean them up. What's happened is the oleander leaves are generally very bitter, so most animals don't eat them most of the years. But because of this severe freeze, the amount of leaves coming down, the chemicals within the leaf have diminished, so they're no longer bitter. And so the animals will chew on them. And like I said, just chewing on them can be very dangerous for them. A little bit of grass in there. See? And then once we clean this all out, there you have it. And this will grow back into a nice, beautiful oleander plant. By the end of the summer, it should be at least 6 feet tall, and you'll have your privacy hedge back. Here we have a Texas sage. Different variety. There's a lot of varieties around. This one froze the top off. Let me cut it back. You can see from the base it's all coming back up. It's got very dense wood. Get rid of that. There we go. We clean this out like that. Now you got all this new growth coming on. Gets plenty of sunshine, be a lot stronger. Will come back, be about 3-4 feet this year. Normally the Texas sages didn't freeze back, and that's the variety frutescens, Leucophyllum frutescens. much more cold hardy. This one a little bit more cold sensitive. This one's called Sierra Bouquet. It has the most fantastic smelling flowers. They smell like grape soda, and but it survived the winter. Froze back, but it'll grow back just fine. Here we have another Las Cruces shrub to this area, and that's the pineapple guava. It's considered subtropical. One way to check to see if it would be alive would be to go on along the stem with your fingernail and scratch. And what you want to see is green. And we're not seeing any green up here, we're seeing brown. And so you just keep moving down. What you're going to do is move down the stem, still brown. You get way down here, it's a little softer. That's showing blackish color. That's still no good. What you have to do is go all the way down to the base, and you see green tissue down here. And what we can actually see is the tree is resprouting from the base. And what we're going to have to do is take off the top. The best thing about this whole thing is we didn't lose the fruiting tree here. We just lost the top growth, and it'll come back in a few years. So we'll remove down to here and allow all these new stems to come out and replenish the whole tree. A few years we'll have our fruiting tree back and we'll be able to enjoy the fruit once again. Here we have an example of fire blight. You can see the stems started dying back here. Obviously probably killed by the freeze, but it allowed the disease to come in. It's moving its way down the stem, and the way you can kind of tell this is because see this leaf here? This leaf is already dying, there it goes. Other one's turning yellow. You follow it back, you can see multiple blackening here. So probably fire blight's coming in here. So what would you do? You could cut this whole rose back to the ground because it's so infected with, looks like fire blight and dead around it. Or you can go in here and cut out these dead stems. Try to save the green that you can, and then spray it. Spray it with, I would spray it with streptomycin. That's the most effective thing for fire blight. You can buy it locally, or you can order it over the internet if you have to, and cut out all this dead stuff. A good thing to do is when you go cutting on this rose bush is to clean your pruning shears with a 10% bleach solution, 10% mixed with water. Dip them in there for a few seconds, up to 10 seconds. Let it clean off your pruning shears before you prune any other rose bush, because you don't want to transfer the disease to another one of your rose bushes. Clip them off and then come back and spray it according to the directions for the streptomycin. Spray it from top to bottom and cover it really good. And you may need to treat it a second time, but that should take care of the fire blight.